carried away.
He may not, and he may say it's just a start, but that put the feel-good factor back in Old Trafford for 90 minutes at least.
Well, it's a brilliant start for him, and that has to be the norm now, that energy and how organised they were. They had a belief in what they'd been told to do, and they looked very comfortable in what they were doing, and they were by far the best team by a mile on the day, and everything that they did, with and without the ball, were very, very impressive. I said they were organised. It's exactly what I mean. When City had the ball there's actually nowhere for them to go. They love to get those little pockets just in front of the Man United back four. You can see there with Kobe Mainoo, there's no way through. He's got Foden there, so the ball comes over to the left hand side eventually. But just then, have a look what happens with Ahmed. Ahmed spots that, he goes. Dalot comes across, the ball then has to go off to the other side. Watch his reaction when it goes over to the other side, just to get back in and to give Dalot cover. So it's 2v1, there's no way past, and eventually the only ball that City can play is backwards, and that's exactly what Man United wanted. Win.
Yeah, and this clip's exactly the same. They're very difficult to play through. Dorgu, who's been forward on the attack, getting back into his shape, and there's an easy pass here onto Rico Lewis, but Dorgu gets back into his shape, cancels that pass, and then now every player back within a 13-yard radius. Very difficult to play through. Phil Foden then having to come out of that pack to try and get the ball. Man City now nowhere to go, so they go back out wide. Dorgu again putting pressure on the ball. City getting frustrated, comes back inside, goes into Phil Foden, plays into Bernardo Silva. He miscontrols it, and then Phil Foden again getting really frustrated.
Similar thing again in the second half. There's the system. That's what he wanted them to do. You've got Cherky who's free on that right hand side. Dorgu then comes over to that, and again there's nowhere to go. But what the impressive thing is there is he follows the ball, Dorgu, but then just watch what he does there. He has a little look to his left to see where Lewis is. He stops that pass. That pass would be a key pass into there, but it's not on because of his awareness of where he is and what he has to do and what he's been told to do. And Bremo has to shift across. The ball eventually goes forward. They win the ball back from the brilliant Harry Maguire, who was superb. And again, something very similar, Wayne.
Yeah, when we talk about Manchester United's DNA, this is it. Harry Maguire heads the ball out the penalty box, and this sprinting forward. We've seen so many Manchester United goals over the years, exactly like this. Ball goes into Bruno, into Mbeumo, and a great finish. And again here, Mason Mount now getting to the ball. Ahmed intercepts it. No other thought but to sprint forward. Long sprints, hard work, but it pays off. A great pass into Cunha. Marginally, is he offside? We don't know. Great ball across, and Mason Mount finishes. So offside unlucky, but what a start for that man. A lot of talk this week, and it's been a start he couldn't have dreamt of.
Given those sprints there, given the energy, given the work rate, is it fair to ask where that has been this season?
Yeah,
because that can't be simply down to tactics.
Well, I think it's part one, the manager giving them a belief that they need and that they want, and the belief in the system. There's no doubt they didn't believe in what the other manager was trying to get them to do. They were never comfortable in doing that. Everyone could see that in terms of the system that he wanted them to play. They've gone back to basics today. They've got players back into the team that obviously make a big difference. But as I said, you've seen a different energy and a different performance from so many of those players today. That has to be everything going forward in every single game. They've got no midweek games in terms of Europe. They've got all the time to plan. He's only had 2 or 3 days, but you can already tell the difference. And as I said, that has to be exactly the same like that every single week.
Which then leads to the next question, which is they've had good performances in so-called big games in recent seasons of Manchester United. You know, they've won at Anfield, they've won at the Etihad, knocked Arsenal out to the Cup. The test is now to do it when the onus is more on them, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they've had big results. But that performance today, what we've seen, I think is the best performance I've seen from Manchester United team in a long, long time. And when you ask why did Manchester United need an ex-player back in, because Michael Carrick knows the club, he knows the culture, he knows the DNA of the football club, and we've seen all that today. So I thought today they were absolutely outstanding.
Yeah. In another part of the post-match interview, Pep Guardiola didn't blame the result on whether Dalot should have been sent off or not, but for you two, a red card?
There's no doubt about it. It's as clear a red card as you're going to see. I mean, they came out with deemed to be glancing. That means nonsense. That is as straight and as full-on, as high and as dangerous as you're going to see. He's endangering the opponent. It's a straight red card. I
There's
understand
no
why
glance.
the ref...
There's no glance.
Not
there,
at
is
all.
there?
That's nonsense, the glancing thing. I understand why the referee hasn't given it, but you've got two guys in VAR who don't think that is dangerous. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, initially I thought it wasn't, but when you watch it back, I think it's clear as red card you've ever seen. What's worrying is that VAR don't see that.
Yeah.
I think that's the big worry.
Yeah, and use the word glance.
No chance.
Rather
It's
than
straight
saying
on.
there isn't excessive force.
No, it's unbelievable. I mean, I don't know how they come up with that. I don't know. I can't see that at all. It's a straight on, really is. It's a terrible tackle. But as I said, you've seen a different energy and a different performance from so many of those players today. That has to be everything going forward in every single game. They've got no midweek games in terms of Europe. They've got all the time to plan. He's only had 2 or 3 days, but you can already tell the difference. And as I said, that has to be exactly the same like that every single week.
Which then leads to the next question, which is they've had good performances in so-called big games in recent seasons of Manchester United. You know, they've won at Anfield, they've won at the Etihad, knocked Arsenal out to the Cup. The test is now to do it when the onus is more on them, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they've had big results. But that performance today, what we've seen, I think is the best performance I've seen from Manchester United team in a long, long time. And when you ask why do Manchester United need an ex-player back in, because Michael Carrick knows the club, he knows the culture, he knows the DNA of the football club, and we've seen all that today. So I thought today they were absolutely outstanding.
Yeah. In another part of the post-match interview, Pep Guardiola didn't blame the result on whether Dalot should have been sent off or not, but for you two, a red card?
There's no doubt about it. It's as clear red card as you're going to see. I mean, they came out with deemed to be glancing. That means nonsense. That is as straight and as full-on, as high and as dangerous as you're going to see. He's endangering the opponent. It's a straight red card. I understand why the ref...
There's no glance.
Not
there,
at all.
there?
That's nonsense, the glancing thing. I understand why the referee hasn't given it, but you've got two guys in VAR who don't think that is dangerous. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, initially I thought it wasn't, but when you watch it back, I think it's clear as red card you've ever seen. What's worrying is that VAR don't see that. I think that's the big worry.
Yeah, and use the word glance.
No chance.
Rather than saying there isn't excessive force.
No, it's unbelievable. I mean, I don't know how they come up with that. I don't know. I can't see that at all.
And I may as well be the first to ask this question, because I suspect that it's going to get asked a lot over the next course of 17 games. But if that is the level, and if they continue to produce performances like that, why not Michael Carrick long term?
I said it before the game, and I say it now. I think why not give him an opportunity? Like I said before, you've got managers who we consider to be top level managers, the greatest managers. We talk about Guardiola, Zidane, Arteta at the moment. Those guys manage teams, you know, the B team of Barcelona, the B team of Real Madrid, and an assistant to Pep Guardiola, and they went and had amazing success at top football clubs. So for me, I think the timing, you know, could you argue, cool, yeah, there's bigger names that are going to be available. If he builds something here in these next 17 games, what would be the point of bringing someone else in to build off what he's built? Like, give him an opportunity. He might grow into becoming a top level coach, and we go, fantastic. Like, I like the fact he's an English manager, he's getting an opportunity, and today was a performance that you look at and you go, listen, if this man can build something, he deserves it for me. I don't see the point in looking elsewhere, and you can always say, yeah, that looks good, oh yeah, that looks nice over there. You know what? Stick with what you got, baby.
Would you give it, Roy?
I'll give him what he wants. Signed a contract.
Maybe it's to do with the blend of the coaching staff.
No, listen, again, we'll give credit where it's due. Absolutely fantastic. But let's judge it over the next few months. Again, the key for him, I think, now is try and get momentum into this team, this belief. Again, no other distractions. Focus on the league matches. There's quality players there, as we know that. They've not had that. They've not been consistent enough. And today they've got a clean sheet, and maybe have two centre-halves now, experienced players who can get a partnership together and stay injury-free. And all these little things fall into place. You've got a striker, players coming off the bench having an effect. But maybe some of the PR with Carrick has been a good over recently. You just mentioned, because he's an English coach, the English media will be pushing for that. Even Man United, he's done well to do, but let's see over the next few months how he does.
It could give them a real headache, couldn't it, Mike? If they were to do well, and then would you, if you were in Jason Wilcox and Omar Barada's shoes, to then say, thanks, Michael, but we're going to go in a different direction this summer?
It's difficult. I said that, I was asked when I was doing the League Cup on Tuesday, and they said, I think it's a bit of a conundrum that they find himself in, because if he puts in performances like that, then you have to really give him the job. But I was speaking to Gary before the game, and he just wants someone who's elite. But someone elite coming here doesn't automatically think success. So
like a Jose Mourinho or
it's
Van Gaal.
It is a difficult one, but I think what I like is not just about him, it was the players buying into what they was doing on the pitch today. If you look at the way Man United defended today, there was all together. But not only that, when they defended, they could get out. When they played the other system, it's sort of like they was locked in and then they had no way to get out. And on that transition, I thought it was fantastic. That we talked about before about the Johnny Evans in there and people like giving them confidence. You mentioned Steve Holland, and he's a person who does that. And that's what I think Man United have missed over the last 18 months.
But they've won one game.
No, but it's
the previous manager won one game.
It's a manner in which you win a game.
But
If United would have fluked this game 1-0, I would tend to agree with it, but they had 5 and 6 clear opportunities. They defended well and they looked organised as a group, mixed in with confidence as well that Carrick had given. I'm not naive and say give him a job now.
He's only been there for 3 days. All of a sudden, no.
But they needed the lift. This was about a lift.
It was more than that, wasn't it?
The formation change for me is key. The previous manager, Ruben Amorim, played a formation that didn't suit the players.
Fletch changed it.
Fletch changed it.
But there was players missing. He had 2 or 3 players missing.
It's that feel-good factor.
You know about if you look at a lot of managers' careers and timing, and Carrick's coming here to United, I think it's the dream scenario for him to come in. Everyone's available. You got Manchester City at home, who they've been offered a little bit. You're at home, you've got players available, you could have a man sent off, time and a little bit of luck. They've made the most of it. I'll take nothing away from them. I'm happy to give credit where it's due. And fantastic today. But everyone just calm down.
I'm calm.
That's me saying
I'm calm.
No,
but what I'm saying,
even more down.
No. I'm staying up.
You're saying give him the job.
What are you saying, Daniel?
No, because you know what? I think today buys him a bad result or two. I think a performance like now, if they lose next week, it's like, you know what, well, last week...
But his target, what's his target? To finish 4th?
Yeah, Champions League.
4th, or getting
or
to
maybe
Europe.
5th as well.
5th, of course, but getting to Europe. But 4th is realistic, and you're going, well, that's what Man United should be thinking. We shouldn't be sitting there going, scratching our heads going, what could United finish 4th?
but
Even the last week or two. Even the last week or two, when we've been doing games and we've been disappointed with United, we've been saying, but 4th is a realistic target.
But it hasn't been the case, has it? For once in the last 4 seasons, I think they finished in the top 5.
I know, but the last few months we have been saying, but because of the way the league is at the moment, there is a chance for United to finish 4th. It's not miracles we're talking about here. And if he gets to 4th and he doesn't get the job, it'll still lead Carrick to get another job somewhere, because people look and go, listen to the way he's handled himself, he's been great, he's been cool, and United plays in a positive way.
Okay.
But most people who would have took this job today would have played that way.
Well, let me ask you a question. With the players that Man United have in their squad, where do you think they should be finishing? Because if you're saying that they're not ready to win the league yet, so Champions League is realistic. So if they finish in the top 4, right now that has to be
Well, I felt the last
positive.
few months they were going to miss out. But when you see a performer like that and everyone's available, you're thinking, and because of the way the league is this year, the way it's probably, a lot of teams have been inconsistent, barring obviously maybe Villa and of course Arsenal, where City have. You're thinking, yeah, there is a realistic chance, but there's 5 or 6 teams would be thinking that. But if the team can play with that quality and energy week in, week out, and that is the key, then of course they've got a chance of it. Absolutely.
So Manchester is red. What a performance from them. Probably one of the best we've seen in a long time from Manchester United. And a perfect start as well for Michael Carrick, someone you know quite well.
Yeah, you know what? He went back to that back 4 that Darren Fletcher did, and they just defended brilliantly. That's been their biggest issue, I think, this season. I think before that they were 3rd highest scorers, but conceded too many goals. Defended well. Then he had 32% possession, but hit City on the counter-attack. And I just thought it was a brilliantly executed game plan. Kobbie Mainoo went straight back into the team, played 90 minutes. And Bruno Ahmad came into the side, and they looked super dangerous. And with Bruno Fernandes back in his number 10 position, it just felt like all the pieces of the puzzle were in a position where they could go win the game, and they were exceptional today.
Yeah, it was a baptism of fire, in the Manchester derby against the Manchester City side who are chasing the title, and that kind of performance from United will have impressed many people.
Absolutely. Really pleased for Michael, because he is a legend, as Martinez says there, of the club. He's come in and he's got a tune out of the team. He's gone back to basics. Back 4, Harry Maguire coming back in, Shaw, all the guys he knows very well, who's going to really put it in for him. And I think the atmosphere for me was like the old days when there was really challenging titles and winning titles. And I think everybody got such a big boost. The way they watched their team run after lost causes, and the energy, the passion. And Manchester United fans will be going home very happy tonight.
Yeah, a lot of talk about the atmosphere, about the energy from the team, about the fight that they showed today. But it's also going to leave a lot of people with questions about why they stayed, and Ruben Amorim stayed for so long with that system when we saw a change today and saw that performance from them.
Yeah, but I think he left when they were 5th. So he's probably sitting at home thinking, yeah, but I could have finished in the top 5 too. You know, they're within that touching distance. But I just thought that whole performance was completely different. You know, I thought they were in a decent position in the league, even though they weren't playing well. But today, the energy felt different. You know, I thought they defended really well. They attacked. The energy, the stadium grabbed the energy from the players, and everybody could feel. And Martinez made a really good point. He said everybody was together, and that's what it needs. If you're going to beat a top team like City, you need to be together. And it just felt like everybody was aligned, whether it's formation or tactics or energy. Everybody felt connected, and when you have that, then you have a chance against the top teams.
We're going to look at the goals in just a moment, including the ones that were ruled out for offside, because there were plenty of goals today. But I want to start with that moment for Diogo Dalot. There was some people who feel this could have been a red card, and when you consider the timing of it, just 10 minutes in, this would have changed the complexion of the game.
Yeah, it wasn't a good challenge, there's no doubt about that. But you see Doku there, he's a very quick player anyway. He just gets a touch on it there, and he's committed. And the ball might just got a nick on the ball, but he's not really gone in fully to really. If he's put his weight forward as well, it could have been really, really bad for Doku. But at the time, I looked at it and I saw the different angles. One angle looked really bad, which obviously I would have looked at VAR, but probably they looked at it and said, well, I think the referee's more or less got it right with the yellow card, but he was very, very close to maybe going the other way as well. So I think they got that little bit of luck there by getting away with that one.
What did you think?
Can we have an orange card?
Yeah, no, it was probably in between.
It was, yeah. No, you know what? I don't think it was, but Ray makes a good point. There's one angle of it where you think, oh, that looks like a red. And I think because he pokes the ball just before he makes contact, the only thing I would say is his foot's very high. And I think normally when your foot's that high, see, I think this angle, I don't think it's as bad because I think he touches the ball initially. It's this one. If they see a still of that looks really bad. So Andy nailed it in commentary. We've seen red given for that. But I do think common sense probably prevailed, and I think they got it spot on. Yeah,
you make a great point about if they'd seen a still of it, because the video shows that there was glancing contact, which is eventually why, they stayed with the yellow card. So that incident came just 10 minutes into the action. Let's look at the goal that opened the scoring. Brian Mbeumo straight back from AFCON duty and onto the score sheet. Ray.
Well, again, ball into the box and look, so vulnerable at the back, Man City. They showed that in the first half as well. And you look at this break, there it was on his left foot. You can argue the defender here, he sort of goes on to his right hand side, and then it's an easy ball to slip into Mbeumo's, as we see here. So what's the defender? The right hand side, it just goes to the left, and he's got that half a yard space, but it's a great finish. Side netting, we always say cross the goal, hit the side netting, it's usually a goal. And Mbeumo, he would have been over the moon with that finish, and a fantastic goal for Manchester United.
Brilliant goal on the counter-attack, but that should never happen if you've got a set piece. There's only really two back. Kusanov makes a terrible decision, to go to the left-hand side. He's got to go with the runner. But the thing is, Pep will know you're not going to win the league with that back four. He had a couple youngsters in there today, and I think he realised, did they get Mark Gahey tomorrow? That make a huge difference. No John Stones, Diaz, Vardiel. That back four was probably never going to win that game today.
Okay, let's look at the goal then that makes it 2-0, because it was Dorgu, and he only scored his second Premier League goal of the season. What a game to score it in.
I'll tell you what a finish, by the way. I mean, and in the end, it's a little bit old school, in the fact you get players wide, and Cunha, he does this really well. He gets wide, Ray, you were brilliant, and get a cross in. Dorgu, what a finish that Absolutely is, by the way.
Brilliant.
Nico Lewis falls asleep a little bit at the back post, but just cross it. That's what Arsenal need to do. Cross it, get it into an area. Great finish.
But that's desire as well. I mean, I see Dorgu wanted it more than Rico Lewis. He's ball watching. He don't know what's around him. He's got to be on the half turn, knowing that he's going to get the run on him, and the ball into the box was just a ball into a dangerous area. But Dorgu wanted it more than Rico Lewis, and that was poor defending. Really was for the fullback.
Yeah, it certainly was. Well, that made it 2-0, and that's how it stayed. There were plenty of other opportunities and moments where the ball was in the back of the net, either ruled out for offside. 2-0, a huge win for Manchester United in the Manchester derby.
Done, but just throwing it forward, as you did to some extent there, talking about Arsenal. Tell me why, because we've had 2 of these a year for the last 13 years, tell me why this might not be another full storm. Why will Manchester United potentially sustain this sort of performance?
No, I can't give you any guarantees, Peter. There's a massive caveat with this. I'm just getting giddy, to be fair, for 20 minutes in my life, because we should. Because look, if we'd won today, Manchester United, by playing really deep, scrapping a 1-0 win, and I'd seen like a bit of a scruffy type hang in there type performance, I wouldn't be getting as giddy as I am. I wouldn't. The Manchester United fans not stupid, by the way. They were clapping at half time because they thought, yeah, that's it. That's it. That's what we do. It's 0-0, by the way. They were clapping. That tells you everything. So at the end of the game, obviously they're absolutely buoyant because it's 2-0. But the half-time clap and the appreciation of what they'd seen was because they'd seen a proper performance. So for me, no, it may be a false dawn. It may be a false dawn, Peter. It may be that, but Manchester United are currently sat in the top 4, and I've maintained all year, they'll go out of it obviously when the rest of the games come this weekend, but they're sat 4th right now. They should be 4th or 3rd anyway over the last few weeks with the games that they've dropped points in, but they've not shown and demonstrated enough energy, attitude, performance levels or anything. And I've always thought this team are actually capable of that, and we've seen today that they actually are. So look, getting into the top 4 this season, top 5 would be a massive achievement. I think it's achievable. It's there. There's a lot of work to do to get there, but that wouldn't mean a return of Manchester United. That's not, I'm not getting carried away beyond that. I want to really heavily caveat how happy and giddy I've been in this podcast, just purely because we've been conditioned to believe you cannot play like Manchester United play. That's what I've been told for the last 3, 4, 5 years. Move on. You can't play that way anymore. I'm sorry. You can play that way. In modern football, you can. It's just, you've just watched 90 minutes of it. 90 minutes of exactly what I think this club plays like when it's actually at its very best. And that's sometimes unashamedly being in without the ball and just being behind the ball and saying, go on, knock us down, then we'll just counter-attack on you. So no, it's not a time to say that Manchester United will sustain this and then they'll go and carrying up the league. This has got to be a bridge towards potentially getting a European place. Top 5 would be amazing. That would get a Champions League place. And then maybe something else next season. But no, this is not the return of Manchester United, but it's the return of at least something that looks like the club. It's been a pale imitation this last many years, really. Many years. It's been awful. Some of the performances here, you have to see a good one to remind you of how bad the ones have been.
Well,